3, 2, 1. Hi, my name's Sean, and this is my demonstration speech. Imagine, it's a Friday night after spending an entire hour getting ready to go out to the bars with your friends. You hop in your vehicle to head to their house to pregame. Now, because you drive a newer car, you don't worry about checking fluids or specifications of the vehicle. All you can think about is getting on that dance floor and with all of your friends and relieving stress that you got from the week. On your way to their house, you start smelling a weird smell. You're not sure what it is. You assume maybe it's from the construction site that you passed earlier. But as you drive a little further, you realize the smell has not gone away and the car is starting to shake a little. But you're only 1 more mile away from their house. How bad could it be? You can make it there, right? Wrong. You hear a large bang and your car suddenly pulls off to the right side of the road. You get out of the car annoyed and worried. You make your way to the passenger side of the car to look at what's wrong. You've just blown a tire and cracked the rim because you continue to drive on that flat tire. Now what? Well, I worked at a tire shop for 2.5 years, changing more tires and wheels than I can remember, and could possibly change one with my eyes closed. So thanks to me, today, you won't have to wonder what's next when you're in that scenario, because I'm going to teach you how to change a wheel. First, you'll need to find the tools and the spare wheel for this job. If you aren't sure where your spare wheels and tools are, then more likely you can Google your make and model of the vehicle that you own. Now, let's make it easy and say that you drive the best-selling car in the world, the Toyota Corolla, which you can find as an article actually by Astros Ulof. In this car, all the items you need are located in the trunk in the Toyota Corolla, by the way. Underneath the storage board. Here you can find the spare wheel, a jack, a tool to pump the jack up, and a lug nut wrench. Now that we have found all of the tools we need for the job, we can start taking the bad wheel off. Let's start with jacking the car up. Jacking the car up is actually one of the hardest parts about changing a wheel. If you're not an experienced mechanic, then knowing where to put the jack can also be a problem of its own. Luckily, I have changed many wheels in my life, like I said, and can tell you exactly where to put it. There's a couple different places we can put this jack when starting with the most common, the frame. The frame is the best part of the car that holds everything together. In almost every case, it is made out of a strong, thick, metal-like material and can easily support the weight of your car. Finding the frame normally means getting on the ground and looking underneath the car to find a sustainable spot for the jack. Another place that we can put the jack is called the pinch weld. It is the second best place to put a jack, and normally you don't need to get underneath the ground to feel it. You can normally just stick your hand underneath the car and look and feel to where the metal is pinched together, welded together. But you might wonder what the pinch weld is on a car, and it's simple that the pinch weld is the area in front of the car where different components are welded together. The downside of the pinch metal is that it's very small and can easily fall off your small jack, such as a jack like this, which is actually found out of the Toyota Corolla itself. The downside to a pinch metal, since you didn't want to risk the car falling off the jack, you got on the ground and found a good spot on the frame to place the jack underneath. You use the tools given to you to jack up the car till the jack is lifted up enough when you can get the old wheel off and you'll be able to put the new one on. Some of the tools that you'll find in the back of your car underneath the trunk area will come in more likely like a bag like this. This is a bag used for most vehicles in the automotive industry. And you'll have probably a tool to screw the jack, and also the lug nut remover will also probably be in this bag. It's a nice little handy bag, which is nice because it's also weatherproof. Now, let's take a small break because the next part is going to require a decent amount of muscle because you'll be taking the wheel off. For this step, you'll use the wrench tool that we found in this small bag in the bottom of the trunk. While this step is easy to tell you how to do, the physical labor is not easy at all. You'll have to take the wrench and put it on each of the lug nuts, holding the wheel on and unloosen them. Most wheels are torqued to around 100 to 250 psi or pounds per inch. You get the first set off with ease, but the third one isn't wanting to come off. You get frustrated and decide to jump on the top of the wrench and break it loose. While this was effective, it was also very dangerous. You could have accidentally fallen or had the jack fall as well and damaged the vehicle more. Next time, a good idea is to either ask for help from someone coming on the road or to find something to leverage more out on the wrench. You get the other two off, and now you have the cracked wheel and tire off. Now that we have the bad wheel off, it's time to put the new one on. You grab the wheel and place the wheel on the studs. You'll have to grab all of the lug nuts that you took off and start screwing them back on the stud threads. Once you have each lug nut hand tied on, you can grab that same wrench that we found in this bag and put them back on. You probably won't be able to go 250 pounds, but you can definitely make sure that it's tight, that way you can get down the road. Now that the new wheel is on and tightened, we can start jacking the car down. Grab the same tool that you found out of the tool bag, and you can easily just go ahead and unscrew the jack so that the vehicle weight can come down, but go ahead and go slow. And make sure that none of your body parts are underneath the vehicle while jacking the vehicle down in case something were to go wrong. After getting the jack out from underneath the vehicle, you can put all the tools back that you found, including the jack, and put them in the back seat along with your old cracked rim and your tire. Once you've made sure that everything is cleaned up and the wheel is successfully holding the vehicle up, congrats! You've just put your spare wheel on, and now you can head to your friend's house to relieve the stress, probably about your tire problem as well. Nonetheless, you definitely just saved money instead of having someone to come and do it or for your car to be towed. That is my demonstration speech. Are there any questions?
Question.
Yes.
Is there any specific way you're supposed you're supposed to put the lug nuts back on, or can you just do it whenever?
That's a great question. One of the best ways, so say you have 6 lug nuts on your vehicle, the best way to do that is to go in a star pattern. Are there any other questions? Yes.
What if you don't have a pinch in the weld? Is it safe to put it on any part of your frame?
It is not safe to put on your frame. Every vehicle will have a pinch weld. It's just harder to find where it's actually at. Basically, because you're connecting your frame and the interior of your car, so you will have it on every vehicle. But some of them are hidden. But most cases, it is very hard to find a great spot. But the frame, you'll be able to probably see pretty easy because it is about 3 inches thick. Yes.
Okay. You didn't mention semi-trucks,
So if you were to change a semi-truck, more than likely you probably won't because a semi-truck doesn't actually come with the tools to change its own wheel. So you will have to call someone in order to do that because in most semi-truck, they do not carry wheel repair kits. So, yes.
What about a motorcycle?
A motorcycle will not have a spare wheel on it.
Wait, really?
In almost most cases, unless you have, the only case that I've known for a motorcycle is when they have the little carriage to the right of them, they normally carry a small wheel on the back side of that little cab.
Yeah.
And
like the Scooby-Doo one?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What should you do if you have a flat tire but you don't have a spare?
Well, there's a couple things. If you have a flat tire, then maybe if it's not super flat, then maybe you can find a place to go air it up at a gas station. Many gas stations have air pumps. If it's completely flat, then maybe you're lucky and you have an air pump in your car. That's a great thing to keep in your car as an emergency. You can put an air tank, or not an air tank, but a what they call is a bubble in the back of your car. They might think it's silly, but in those situations, you'll find it very useful. Yes.
Okay, so how safe is it to drive on a flat tire?
Very unsafe. As I mentioned in my speech, if you continue to drive on a flat tire, you can also crack that rim because the rim itself is not meant to be on the bumpy part, and you can crack. And most rims are aluminum or metal, but you can crack that aluminum rim very easily. So very unsafe, in fact. So definitely something I would not recommend.
How bad is it if you crack the rim?
Actually, very bad because the rim is what holds the tire all together onto the lug nuts / car, And so, I mean, it's very unsafe. I mean, I would definitely not recommend it at all. Yes.
The rim and the tire are separate things.
Yeah, so actually,